I would love to understand what's the kind of AI stack that you are using. Are you using AI at work firstly? And if yes, what is it that you've been doing?
We almost think of AI as a differentiator. So if you again go back a few years, like if you think of how HubSpot would think of structuring a team of content writers, that they would hire 50 people, put them in the room, and then churn out blog posts day in and day out. What we think that we can do is we can have two people where they just come up with really well researched outlines, and then we can come up with like a system that effectively uses AI. It could be in a combination of different models, it could mean a fine-tuned model, whatever it is, and we can generate the same amount of content that, let's say, a team of 50 writers could generate elsewhere. So that's the approach that we're taking with AI. And again, that is one of the criteria that we are hiring. So we wanted anyone who's joining the team to be comfortable using AI tools and just be open to the mindset that, hey, AI, especially in marketing, but in other places also, AI is going to be a tool which if you don't adopt, you're going to be left behind. So we wanted people with that mindset. So we've mostly hired people around 2 to 7 years of experience, so not too experienced, so they don't bring their bias. So Chennai is amazing in terms of having that B2B SaaS talent, thanks to Zoho, Freshworks, and all the other startups that we have here. But with that, there's also a sense of, okay, this is kind of how we have done things so far. So, especially with a lot more experienced folks, you find that there is that muscle memory of going back to things that used to work, which again, I have that bad habit as well. So what we are finding out is that when we get people young, they are a lot more open to trying new things. And I personally believe that the next few years in marketing is going to be very different from what we've seen, which is again what every marketer says. But then I definitely believe that, given that AI is transforming the way that we work, so we wanted people who are who will have the skills, but then they're also nimble enough, they're also open enough to adapt to new ways of working. So that's one thing that we see. But yeah, beyond that, every role has its own requirements, and it's very role based and people based. In terms of AI, I see 2 or 3 areas where Stitchflow's AI, Stitchflow's marketing is think of using AI. Right, one, I was talking about the content. So we want to build an AI powered content engine that can come up with high quality content at scale, while a human, obviously a content writer, is giving it a high quality input. So that's where the human person, the input comes in. Obviously, the editing and post production. The second layer, what we want to do is we want to almost think of code as content. So what I mean is, can we build a bunch of micro SaaS products and give it out as free tools? Again, 3 years ago this is not possible, because a turnaround time to build a small tool. So when I say tool, a micro SaaS, applying the same mindset, is that first, can we build a contract management parser? So Stitch works with IT teams who deal with access gaps, who deal with license gaps. So a tool that we can build for them is, can you upload all your contracts, and then we'll give you a contract renewal calendar. And these tools used to take ages to build, but now thanks to AI, thanks to tools like Replit and Bolt, we can just do it over a weekend. We can do it over a week. So that's one lever that we're thinking. Can we not just think of content as written content or video content, but maybe even software as content? So can we think of software as content, and can we use AI to churn out software quickly? Can we build one tool a week, and can we use that as a lead magnet? So that is one area that we're thinking about. And even the third area we're thinking about is, a lot of what we do can be templatized. For example, we come with case studies. So case studies, we have, for every case study, we have a huge case study, a bunch of one-pager case studies, a slide deck format, a website format. A lot of this can be templatized. So one way that we're thinking about is, can we feed all this into, let's say, a Claude project, and then literally only give it the information that we need for the other customer, and have it come up with a similar case study across all these formats. So in kind of summary, the way that we think about AI is that there's a lot of monotonous, repeatable, templatized work that marketers do that AI can come in and help with, but then the input that goes into that should still come from a human marketer. So we are almost thinking, can we leverage a little bit of that? But then one thing that we're very sure is, we are not ignoring AI. We are not looking at AI as a trend. We take it very seriously. So it's not like, hey, yeah, we also use AI. It's good to just tweet about it. But no, we have, all of us have cloud subscription. all of us have ChatGPT subscription. We have a Reddit subscription. So we subscribe to all these AI tools because we use it day in and day out. But yeah, I've been actually meaning to talk about it for a while. I'm glad that you asked this question. Maybe in a couple of weeks, I really want to write up some of the things that we're doing after we've published some of the stuff. So that way there's substance to that as well. So that was a extremely long answer, but I hope that was clear.
That was actually very insightful. I was very curious, and I'm going to check in with you later. I'm going to make a note on my calendar. I've never heard of softwares being used as lead magnets. At least, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it's my limited worldview, but I've never seen that. I'm curious to see how
See,
that goes.
in a way, it's almost like free trials, right? Like some of the early stage, not early stage, some of the smaller products where you have like a 19 or subscription price, your free trial is kind of a lead magnet where you have a free version that can do a subset of the problem really well, and then once you're in, then you get logged in, you get marketed to. So it is a version of that. The way that we want to do it differently is this is not being built by the engineering org, this is being built by the marketing org. So the marketing org will have a product team that is exclusively working on building these tools. So these tools are built for marketing. They're not built for product. But obviously they'll have the product sense, they'll have the right approach and all that. But then the core purpose of these tools is to drive leads. So see, again, why do we do content, right? We do content because we want to add value. So we feel like for some, even if you look at SEO, for some cases, maybe a tool is the answer. The answer is not writing a 10-page blog post. A tool is the answer where they can just go and give it some input and get an output.
That's true. I think that's very true. And please do share about your observations and your experiences, using these.
Yeah, my next 2 years in LinkedIn is all going to be about how to use AI in marketing. So I've already kind of decided my team, like the personal brand team for me for the next couple of years, and I'm glad that I so-called launch it in your podcast.
Nice. This was like a soft launch then.
Yeah, the soft launch of the podcast.
Yeah, I think as marketers, like we any which ways have a very high appetite towards trying out new things and new tools.
Yeah.
Like it's a part and parcel of our life. And I realized this that I was doing myself and my audience a great disservice by not asking this question. Like, how are existing marketing teams incorporating AI in their workflows? Because I think it's very insightful way. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have not thought about lead magnets in this way, or about maybe
Yeah.
the content creation in this way. Like it always depends on the quality of input you put in, right? And that's what
See,
you're
there
trying
is
to do.
also there's always a bias, right, which I hate. Like it's almost it's like garbage in, garbage out. If you go to ChatGPT and you write write a blog post on SaaS tools, it's obviously going to give you something that you hate, and then you can't use that to say that hey, ChatGPT writes rubbish content. Obviously, it's going to write rubbish content. I think there is a nuance in learning how to prompt well, and not even at level of prompt engineering. There are videos that you could watch. There are like Ben's Bytes is a great website where you can just go look at guides on how to prompt chat well for this specific use case. I think it is still extremely hard to get a good output from chat, so you have to put in that work. But then once you figure it out, the advantage there is it's repeatable. Like once you get a good output for one blog post, you just have to change the input, and then you're going to get a similar level of output for the next, and then you can just repeat it. So that is where I feel a lot of marketers are missing out, where they are not spending enough, they're not putting in enough reps in trying out these different things, trying out different keywords, trying out different prompts, trying out different styles. So I think that's a bias that marketers have to get over. And second part is some of these companies, like executives, don't buy into it, right? Like executives have a bias against AI written content. Again, thanks to Jay, he is extremely supportive of using AI. He gets it. He understands AI natively. But then let's say if your boss doesn't get it, they're going to be like, hey, you can't use AI to write content. Google is gonna ban you. But in reality, even Google can't figure out if it's AI or not. It's none of these AI detection tools work. They're gonna flag if you use Delve in your writing, it's gonna flag your writing as AI written. So it's a very interesting and a very dynamic time that we live in. I think it's important to adapt very quickly. And what you know right now is outdated 1 month later. So it's just important to kind of stay afloat and just look around what's happening, than form opinions and stick to those opinions for months. I will drop opinions if I'm proven wrong in a way, but right now my opinions keep changing every 2 weeks. For example, I used to think that okay, no code tools suck, But then AI coding tools are actually the best evolution of no code tools. Like it is no code, but then in a very coding way. So it's like I just keep changing my opinions because things around us keep changing a lot.
And that makes sense. You know what? The guest note that you got, AI written.
Yeah, I mean, and I was even looking for that, right? So, but yeah,
Yeah.
it job done.
It took me quite a bit of time to get to a place wherein it was giving me the right kind of responses.
So you threw in the transcript, and then it was able to get in the.
Yeah, so I threw in the transcript and I make my own notes whenever I'm doing those pre
Okay.
interviews. So it's not simply related to that. And even the first response I get, it's kind of like, I would say
Yeah.
80% I'm happy with it, but I
Yeah.
want it to be even better. So then I'll feed it,
Yeah.
I'll fine tune it, I'll tweak the responses, and I'll do like a little bit of playing around. But if I were to sit and write that entire thing myself, I can do it. It's not a
Not
problem, but
work.
it's just going to take a lot longer.
Yeah, see, I'll tell you one more place where we use AI, right?
Hmm.
So every meeting that we have in Stitchflow, we record it. So we use Otter. Everyone has a subscription, so we record it. So imagine this: we are chatting with our head of ops, head of CS about a case study. We get all the information from him. We have a transcript. We have the existing case study. Just throw all of that into Claude, and then you get like a workable case study in like 5 minutes, and then it's like 80% there. Then you spend your time, and it's like you can get it to 100%. So these are things that are not like it's like imagine I can't go into like a 2000 member org with my phone on saying that I want to record this, right? It's going to be weird if there is no executive buy-in, if there is no buy-in from the entire room. Right now, when we started, it's just like I started this habit when we were like just 3 members. Obviously, the habit scaled. So now I don't look like a fool when I walk around with my phone. Like, in fact, I was planning to take this Hollyland mic and just walk around with that, so that because we discuss so many important things, and let's be honest, right? We're not going to remember it. So, but then AI is really good at synthesizing that information. So why not use it? Like use it and use that to recreate content. So yeah, again, just reminded me of another way that we use AI.
No, no, that's very true. You know what? So I use Fireflies as my note taker, and one thing I've realized is whenever Fireflies gives me like the summary of the call, and they do a fantastic job of summarizing it, and my episode descriptions to some extent can come from it. Like I have done that in the past wherein it made such beautiful points and it captured the whole essence so beautifully. Like
Yeah.
I use it as a transcription tool as well, my
Mm-hmm.
final episodes which get uploaded. So any which ways I get like a summary of it, but it's done so.
Yeah, and one more thing, Mita, is that all these tools are getting so much better that let's say if you get into the habit of using AI tools, it's only a matter of time before the base model itself gets upgraded. That without you doing anything else, you're automatically going to get a better result. So, but then it's important to get into the habit. So the harder thing about using AI is not the tool itself, but your mindset of actually using it.
Yeah, it has to become like a part of your life, like Google Docs integrated in life. It's that kind of a thing. This was like an extremely fascinating section, and I think we could have like one entire conversation on this. It's
Yeah,
that interesting
yeah.
a
Maybe
topic.
maybe once I've done enough with Stitchflow, marketing using AI, let's have a deep dive into that, and I'll obviously be happy to even like talk you through real examples and maybe even share my screen and show what you've done. So I think that'll be insightful as well.
Oh, lovely. That would be absolutely great.